Hey, yo, what's up? It's your boy Rahab92 here, coming at you with a review for Fallout 76. So make sure to go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe, and go over and follow me on Twitch at Rahab92. Hey, yo, listen carefully. Now, I got the alpha code piece for a nuke. So what is Fallout 76? A lot of us, possibly even most of us, have already played the beta. We've experienced all of the issues and the bugs and the glitches, the crashes, all those things we should have expected from a Bethesda game. But through the crashes, the downright atrocious lag, and all the other issues, has it still been an enjoyable game? Now I should probably preference this off the bat, but I'm playing on PS4, and I'm also a huge Bethesda fanboy, dating all the way back to Oblivion. I've played every game, every DLC, and hell, Fallout 3 is still my favorite game of all time. I love the Fallout series. I went back and I've even played 1 and 2. I've watched Let's Plays of the Brotherhood of Steel, and I even enjoyed playing Elder Scrolls Online. So what is Fallout 76? The way I imagine it, and the way it feels like even kind of like when I'm playing it, and the way the servers work, is that it's basically Fallout 4 meets Rust meets GTA 5. And the idea of that game I just mentioned, I remember it scared a lot of people. I wasn't too terrified. I wasn't scared. I was still going to play it. It was still a Fallout game to me, no matter how it was, if it was online or not, because I remember that Elder Scrolls got a lot of hate, and it turned out to be a really good game. So that was an initial problem that a lot of people had. But the idea of that Fallout would be online was an idea that also I feel like intrigued a whole lot of people. And everybody was like, "Oh wow, this game's going online. That's so cool," right? But now I've put in about 15 to 20 hours in the beta so far. There's 2 more beta tests left, tomorrow and I think the day after. And I have to say, it's not as bad as what people say it is. Granted, I'm on PS4, I'm not on PC, so those PC guys, they have some complaints, but again, I feel like most of the complaints about this game right now are performance issues. And I understand that we're 2 weeks away, not even 2 weeks away now, from the game dropping. About a week now, week and a half now from the game dropping? So, I feel like it's definitely going to be difficult for them to fix all of these physical issues. But we were still in the beta when they were making these performance issuing, like, complaints or whatever about the performance. So, I don't know, I guess we shouldn't have expected it to be any better than what it is. I know I didn't. Whenever my game's crashed multiple times throughout the betas, that doesn't really bother me too much. So for that to be the complaint for most people, and that's why most of the reviews I'm seeing and stuff are all negative, it doesn't make sense to me. Because to me, I'm only looking at like the core game values, right? Like how the core game itself, like the game that is going to be there when the beta's over, not the performance issues. So with that being said, one of my issues is with how the world feels empty. And I know a lot of people share with me that same complaint. And that's something that's gonna be there. Now granted, that's a complaint of mine and many others, but there's probably still a lot of people that love Fallout and have always loved Fallout and other Bethesda games, and still that's not a main issue for them. It's not a big issue for me. It's not going to prevent me from playing and enjoying this game. It's just, it definitely does feel empty. It feels like there's a lack, I don't know, of like, I don't know. It kind of, the emptiness goes into more than just when I'm exploring the world and running it, like when I would normally run into NPCs. To me, it affects the way the story's driven. Now don't get me wrong, I don't hate the way that it is, like the holotapes and going from one point to the next, and like the way that it still kind of, the story still does what the story's always done, just no NPCs. So that doesn't bother me too much. What does is, I was never in any of the Fallouts or Elder Scrolls games, I've never been the one, because I started with Oblivion. I didn't start with Morrowind. So I'm used to walking up to the NPC that I have to for the quest, talking to him, and in the conversation that me and that NPC have, I figure out what I have to do for that quest, right? Well, now that's not how it works. Now you figure out what you have to do for your quest through the holotapes, the notes, and the terminals. Those three things are things I've never messed with really in Fallout. So I do get lost in quest, and I understand that's me. I'm going to end up, eventually I'll learn to play this one. And that's another thing too, is that I really like that I'm having to relearn how to play Fallout. That's an enjoyable thing for me. So eventually I'll get used to it, and that'll probably hurt less for the lack of NPCs. But for the fact that Bethesda said that, they basically were trying to replace the NPCs with the other players, it just doesn't work like that. Now, for me on PlayStation, a lot of people on PlayStation have mics, and they usually have their mics on. So proximity chat is really cool. I love it. I stream, so it gets kind of awkward when I'm just, walking through the wild and I'm talking to my chat, and you have, just some random person be like, oh, hey, what'd you say? Asking me, like, I'd be talking to some goofy things in stream, and some random person hears it, and it's weird. But I've had a funny interaction where this guy tried to trick me into PvP. He's like, oh, I'm stuck here. I don't know what happened. I just can't move now. He's like, maybe if you shoot me, it'll work. And I just got done talking to my chat about how I found a fat man. Right? I found a mini nuke. I had a mini nuke, and I have a fat man. So this guy was, I don't know if he didn't know that he couldn't get my stuff, but he was attempting at least, right? And so he wanted me to shoot him. He's like, maybe if you shoot me and knock me, it'll let me move out of this spot. And I just kind of laughed. I was like, no, I'm alright with that. But those are fun little moments that only other players could bring to that. Like, they've had some of those with NPCs. I don't know, it's all pretty cool. It's funny. I like it. But I still feel like NPCs could be there. Like, the way that you gotta trade through the robots and stuff, there's just, I don't know, it's just weird. I don't get it. So that's one of the big complaints, is just how empty it all feels. Another one, and this one is super small, and it's still, again, just me not knowing how it works, and it's the way the map is, because the map isn't the Pip-Boy map no more. And you'll notice real quick on the top right hand corner of your screen, quests just pile up really fast. Now you can go, into your data on your Pip-Boy or whatever, and you can, make it to where you don't want to see those. You can, deactivate that quest, right? And only pick the ones that you want active. But if you're in a team and they have quest active, you have to see it up there. Can't get that off your screen. And if other active players activate an event, which is as easy as just walking into an area, that event doesn't necessarily have to pop up in your right hand corner, but it will crowd up your compass. And when you go to your map to know where it is on the map that you have to go to for the quest that you actively want to do, those markers will crowd up the map. So you'll get to situations where not only did you not pay attention and read the notes, did you not read the terminal, did you not really pay attention to what was going on in the holotape because you were talking to your buddies and your squad, but now you're just completely lost on not knowing where to go for this quest. Now, again, that's still, it was a minute error, like situation that I was putting myself in, that I don't feel like will be an issue at long term. I feel like I'll be able to get over that. That's not really that big of a deal. So I guess for how whatever I feel about the map, I'll learn it and it won't be that big of a deal. The next thing though that really irks me, this one was the biggest one of everything, and it is how Bethesda blatantly lied to all of us. Bethesda said this was like Fallout Survival. Oh no, they kept calling it Survival Light. And man, do I have to tell you, there was absolutely nothing light about this survival. Originally, in this review, I was going to say this was like Fallout 4 meets Ark meets GTA 5. But no, because it is so much easier to survive in Ark than it is in Fallout 76. Now, granted, it might be light compared to, say, Fallout 4's survival mode, where if you drink, it lowers your hunger. If you eat, it lowers your thirst. And they say that that's not in this game, that's prevalent, but it is. It definitely is, because you'll eat something, it'll actually pop up and say that, or like when you read to see what you're about to eat, it'll actually tell you it's going to lower your thirst. Or if you go to drink something, it'll tell you it's going to lower your hunger. So that's one thing. That's not that really that big though. I don't really care. I love the survival aspect. I just hate how whenever you log into the game and you look at your aid section, you're going to know whether or not you're going to have to spend the next hour and a half hunting down food forever, or spend all your caps on preserved food from pre-war. Because those are really the only options. And I guess till later on, whenever I can get enough resources for my camp, I don't know. I mean, like camp to, farm my own food. Because I did eventually figure out that I got my water purifier set up. And that was pretty nice. I didn't have no more water issues. And it was all clean water, so that one was easy. And I know eventually maybe food will be the same way. But to have to go and know, oh yeah, to this I'm going to spend this much time. I'm going to take out this much time of my day. And I'm just going to go hunt and kill animals. And take the food, go to the cooking station, cook it up. And then I should have enough food to last me for a couple hours of playtime, right? You would think that. But food expires. It rots. It will eventually rot on you. So not only do you guys spend this time to go hunt, get yourself, because you would want to stock up on the food, right? So you wouldn't have to worry about it for a few hours while you're playing the game or whatever, since we're doing a beta, But no, it's it'll rot on you. If you're not eating it, it'll just rot. So now you've just wasted all that time that you spent hunting and cooking this food for it to just rot away. Again, it's a survival game. I understand. I still like the survival elements. I don't know how to fix that, or if there is even no point in fixing it, or what it is, but whatever. That's not even the biggest issue with the survival element. It is everything has weight now, right? Which, whatever, not too bad. But everything kind of has a lot of weight. Some things weigh a lot more than I feel like they did in Fallout 76 and Fallout 4's survival mode. Which the ammo isn't the issue. It's just that now, not only do you have to vigorously maintain your weight, but you have to not only do you have to vigorously maintain your hunger and your thirst, but you have to vigorously maintain your weight. And in Fallout 4, that wasn't an issue, because if you were wanting to build awesome builds in your settlements, you could just scrap the things at your settlement and usually turn up to have enough material to build whatever it is you wanted to build in that settlement. But now, when you set up your camp, you don't. The way that you build your walls and stuff is you go out and you got to find things that have wood in it. It's 100% based on your junk, because you cannot scrap the items around where you place your camp. So now, you thought weight management was probably hard, or maybe you didn't think, but it was still a pain in the ass in Fallout 4. Now, it is on a whole nother level. It's ridiculous. And to top it all off, Bethesda was like, oh yeah, here, we got you this little stash box. You can stash all your stuff there. So when you go to your camp, you can have all your junk there and you can build from it and stuff like that, right? The stash only holds 400 pounds. You would think, oh, that's a decent amount of weight. But unless you have a high strength character build, that's not that much weight at all, right? That was probably within the first maybe 4 to 5 hours. Weight isn't really that big of an issue, because I'm not finding guns that I can't use till I'm a higher level yet. I'm not finding legendary weapons that I want to go save for when I reach that level I can use them, or I can save them until I get enough ammo to start using them, right? Well, After about 4 or 5 hours, and you're just realizing, oh shit, all these guns, I have to be level 30, level 40 to use, right? All this armor, I've got to be 30, 40, 50 to use. And you go to put it in your cache, your stash, right? Well, now you have all of your junk in your stash, so now you don't have room for any of this stuff. So I kept finding myself having to get rid of junk, like throw junk out or sell junk, just to be able to have room to put these legendary items and gear into my stash box. Whatever, I don't know. They could always. That's a big complaint that I've seen from a few people, that it definitely needs to be higher than 400. I understand that it has to be loaded into a server. You get thousands of people with their stash box that has infinite amount of weight, with infinite amount of items inside of that stash box. That's going to be an issue. So just higher than 400. Let it be 1,000 pounds or something like that. Because I don't need to have everything in the world in my stash box. I just want a handful of weapons, handful of armor, and then the rest is all junk and maybe some aid, so that way when I run out, when I'm out in the world, because I have to maintain my weight out there, I can come back there, refill on everything, and go out. I can come in on one day that I want to play the game for a few hours, relax, and just go and spend that time gathering up everything, like aids and stuff, all the stuff that I would need to do for, events and other stuff going on in the game, right? That would be a cool thing. But no, you get 400 pounds, and you have it about maxed out within about 3 hours of playtime, and your inventory's maxed out. So next thing you know, now you can't fast travel, which costs caps, no big deal. But you also can't sprint, and moving lowers your AP. So the already pretty weird, not crappy, but just weird VAT system that doesn't really, it's not helpful at all. But that already weird VAT system that isn't really helpful just becomes even more useless. Another good thing though that I have found is that the PvP works so good. Just pretty much like Bethesda said, it works. It actually works. That was one of the things that kind of surprised me, is how well it works. You have to, it's weird how well it works, and it's fun. The PvP is fun. If you can get over the lag. But either way, all this is, these are my complaints. I think I threw in some good things I do like about it. Like I said, all the complaints that I have, I'm pretty sure I'll get used to them, and they won't be an issue much longer. I don't think any of it's game breaking for me anyways, but that is because I'm also a huge Fallout fan. So yeah, get back to it. What is Fallout? To me, it's just another Fallout game. I just need to learn a Fallout game a different way, which I absolutely enjoy that. I absolutely enjoy having to learn a new Fallout game in a different way. I enjoy the questing and how I have to pay attention to what's going on just to complete the quest. I love running into other players and teaming up and getting into all kinds of shenanigans with them. Probably the first beta we had, I think we had it for 3 hours. I spent the entire time with a group of 3 dudes who I don't think had ever played a Fallout game before in their life, and we just ran around exploring the world and getting into all kinds of mayhem. We got into it with a Scorch Beast that whooped our ass, chased me all over the map. There was nothing we could do. We were all level 4, and that thing was outrageous. It was crazy, but it was a whole lot of fun. Just sitting there laughing with everybody and having a good time. I enjoy the crafting. That was the big thing I want to do with my player, is I want to make them be able to craft just about everything in the world. Now that I've realized, you got to go through the world to find the blueprints, technically, for the stuff that you want to craft. It's not as enjoyable, but I still like it. But I also enjoy the building. The very little I was able to do with that, the very little building I was able to do, because, you got to collect your junk, but you're overweight all the time. But either way, the very little bit of building I was able to do, it was still a good time. I enjoyed it a lot. Very Fallout 4-esque, which that was what I spent most of my time in Fallout 4 doing. You can actually check back in my YouTube videos, and I rebuilt Megaton in the castle for Fallout 4. So there's that. The combat is a lot of fun. I know a lot of people are probably going to have some troubles with it. I don't remember. I think I played a lot of Fallout 4 gearing up. I know I played Fallout 4 survival mode gearing up for this, and I did the whole playthrough without using VATS. So yeah, this question is for you to answer down in the comment section below. What is Fallout 76 to you? To me, it's a fun game that's still in beta that has a lot to be fixed. It's a Fallout game that could get more hours out of me than any of the others have before. So if you liked this video, please leave a like, subscribe, and let me know down in the comment section below what you think of Fallout 76 so far.